Yo, yo, yo,
Uh,
what's going on, everybody?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas,
Yeah,
and we're about to stream. What's up, everybody?
how's
What's
it
going
going,
on?
y'all? Our stars actually look like snow right now, so we'll just pretend that was planned.
Absolutely. This is our Christmas edition. Uh, welcome back to this week's episode of Legion of Geeks. Sean, always a pleasure, bud.
You too, as well, Marcus. Glad
Yeah,
you're doing well. Glad you were able to make it through right here, right before Christmas.
I
Thank,
know. Yeah, you too, right? We have to keep this thing going now. 'Cause we're just,
absolutely.
we started the train and there's no turning back.
100%, man, and thank you guys for joining in. I saw a lot of you hanging out in the starting soon.
Uh-huh. Thank you,
Appreciate
thank you,
y'all.
thank you. Thanks for thinking of us as being interesting enough to keep coming back. I don't know why they keep coming back, dude, but they do. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
complaining.
here for it. Yeah.
I know.
It's
No,
the
love you guys.
maybe it's the verge of cancellation. They want to come back and see if it happens.
They're waiting to see us fuck up.
Yo,
Yeah.
Dub
After last week's
Esquire. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, dude. Dub, what's up, bro?
What's
How's it
up,
going?
dude? Thank you for jumping on, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Hey, girl. Hey,
Uh
Mel. What's up?
yeah. Hey, Mel. I couldn't say hi earlier because you couldn't hear me, but I did say hi. I did see you wave. I wasn't being an ass, I promise. Uh,
I told her you were being an ass, and I promised it.
oh,
So,
dude. Yeah, that's fine. Um, what do we got this week, man?
yo, we got a whole lot of shit, man. It is good times to be a nerd, to be into comics, to be into Marvel. We're being spoiled right before Christmas here. So without, going too far, I put it in the notification, I put it in the stream title, but right here, right over our faces, spoilers ahead.
Oh yeah,
Just a heads
there you
up,
go.
we're gonna be talking about everything. So if you haven't seen the latest with Hawkeye, the finale just came out today. If you haven't seen Spider-Man, get the hell out of
Spider-Man.
here. It's probably the only
Yeah,
time I'm gonna
you're the
say it's okay to not watch this, but yeah,
yeah.
go watch
If
it.
you haven't seen Spider-Man, then you are the only person I think in the entire world that probably hasn't seen it by this point. So that's
100%.
also another thing. Get off of here, buy yourself a movie ticket, and just go watch it right now.
Yeah. And
And
don't
then come back and you'll be able to watch this whole thing again on Friday on YouTube when it comes out.
yeah. And if
So
you're busy Friday, you'll be able to listen to it as you guys drive and travel for the holiday.
yep,
Um
you get to listen to us act a fool like we always do.
uh
But yeah, man. So yeah, everybody, again, Sean, one more time, just in case anybody didn't see it. You want to throw that little pop up again? We're gonna extend
spoilers
our
ahead.
A4 in your face right now. There you go.
Extend it.
Sorry if anybody's having a seizure. Uh, that wasn't the case. Yeah, but at least they're not getting the stuff spoiled, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Jesus, dude.
We're not
Yeah.
fronting the bill for it. That means the movie was good.
If you're having a seizure, you're not getting spoiled. So
There you go. See,
that's
no, it works out.
that's horrible. Pretend I didn't say that.
Let's just jump right into it, man. Let's just
Let's
jump right into it.
let's go.
What do you want to go over first?
The first one
Think we had.
I had queued up was the one that came out today,
All
and that
right.
was, who did Hawkeye
Hawkeye.
introduce us to, man? We can talk about the finale first because that was incredible. And it had a big spoiler. They were dancing around if the Kingpin himself was going to survive or not, which I thought was incredible. I thought the dude was dead twice in the same episode.
Wait, hold on. Did he not get shot then?
Well, dude, that's the thing. It wasn't on screen, bro.
Oh, that's like a rule of shows and movies,
Yeah.
right? Like if a death happens and it's off screen, they're never actually dead.
Yeah. And
Some people are guilty of that.
dude, and in the comics, that shit happened, and he just came back, and guess what? He was blinded. So now he's even with Daredevil, dude, and that made a whole nother interesting like comic run.
Yeah.
Ty
Well, do you,
says, oh, real quick. TLP says, I don't have good internet where I'm at, but I'll try and tune back in a little bit. The stream ain't playing for me. Hope I don't miss out any Hawkeye combo.
oh, that's so funny, dude. Ty, of course, right? Like the one time your thing runs out, and then we're talking about Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like we tried to do it in the beginning for you too. Still didn't work out. But um, speaking of the question that came out, dude. So who did Hawkeye introduce us to? Right? You want to back up a little bit and just backtrack, and
Yeah. And go
we'll just
through it
kind of
all.
fly through it. Uh, First of all, the very first thing, Hawkeye introduces us to Kate Bishop
Yep.
and her story and how she came to be and why she feels a certain way towards Clint Barton, particularly because he saved her life during the middle of the Battle of New York in the first Avengers movie back in 2012. And dude, I mean, like, I don't blame her if a hero saved my life and he was a normal dude and he didn't have any powers or anything, I'd fucking worship the ground that guy walked on, you know?
100%, dude. Seeing aliens come through, attack the Earth, and you just see this dude jumping off a building that can't fly, and all he has is a bow and arrow, and he's fighting fucking aliens, and he survives and like does it like hell yeah, dude. And yeah, I just thought it was awesome because we've seen so much bad come from all the previous MCU like fights and battles,
Yeah.
like the Sokovia Accords,
Mhm.
Ultron. We've it's been a thing like in the MCU, like people just remember all the big bad events. So to see some good origin story come from it, um, I thought it was awesome. In that comic run, I wasn't familiar with it when it started, but I caught up as the show was progressing.
Mhm.
And dude, this followed pretty close to it all. But yeah, dude, what a great introduction to Kate Bishop, and what a great story arc throughout this entire
Right.
season. I
Yeah.
can't believe it was only 5 or 6 episodes.
Dude, yeah, that was one of the things, man. Was that when I finished it, it felt like one long movie. Like it could have like it I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't a movie,
Yeah,
but like it felt like a longer movie. And I like that it was just centered on Clint and Kate and their relationship together. By the way, I love the actress that they got to play Kate Bishop. I think she
yeah, she
fucking killed it.
killed
She
it.
played an amazing job.
Yeah, she
And Jeremy Renner, I've always loved him as Hawkeye, and he never get enough screen time with him, but, like,
yeah,
every time he was on screen, he always killed it, and I always, it's so funny because Hawkeye was like, "Ah, dude, it's like, it's just a guy with a fucking bow and arrow," you know? He's like,
yeah.
how cool is that? How cool could that possibly be when you have the Hulk and Captain America
And
and
Thor.
Spider-Man and all this stuff?
Yeah,
Thor. So, to see him and for them to give him his own story, um, I thought it was awesome, man. I actually wasn't entirely looking forward to Hawkeye when they announced, like, the slate of shows that were gonna come out,
yeah.
but soon as I watched the first episode, I was immediately hooked. They did it in such a good way. It was it was totally different than just being a Marvel show. It felt
Yeah,
like it was almost like a buddy cop story. Um,
100%, man.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was so good and so grounded compared to, like compared to Loki and all the crazy shit that we were getting with everything else in the MCU. So to have this little pocket, of like other shit going on that's super
Yeah.
grounded, and like finally Hawkeye's like fighting like normal people. He's just
Yeah.
fighting gangs and shit.
It's easy to him.
Yeah. So dude, yeah, the whole show was set up really well, and Kate Bishop, the great actress, that
Haley
played her,
Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld, and
Feld. I
yeah,
think it's Field. It's not Feld. I'm thinking of Seinfeld. I've been watching Seinfeld a lot lately, like every day.
but dude,
Um,
their banter and their ability to bounce back and forth off of each other was hella good. Jeremy Renner, I don't think I've seen him in a show, but he killed it in this.
yeah,
And it brought a whole lot more depth. And oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say. I love that they leaned into him just being a dude with a bow and arrow, and him
yeah,
being like the forgotten Avenger. Like if you rewatch it, like there's all these like hints. Some of them are subtle, some aren't. But like even the spacing on the poster of for the musical,
Dude, oh my god, I love that so much.
Yeah,
That musical in the beginning was fucking amazing.
yeah,
It was so cheesy, but it was perfect 'cause it was throwing everybody's lines out there. Like,
yeah,
the main thing of the song was, "I can do this all day," and they're just, like, hitting the high notes and
yeah.
ending with it, and,
It's
that shit
absolutely.
was cracking me up, dude. It was so funny.
It's absolutely what would happen, like, in the real world if some extreme shit happened that was, extremely good, like, we would absolutely turn into a musical. Um, but yeah, that show dude, and even watching that last little, I had to rewind it a few times because watching it in its entirety at the end of the
Yeah,
credits of the show,
yeah.
like, even Hawkeye, like, in that musical gets, like he gets bumped by Captain America, he gets covered by Captain America's shield, and he's like, "Hey,
Mhm.
man," like, so the fact that they leaned into that shit,
Yeah, that was great.
Dub
Yeah, and you already brought it up, but it's amazing that they used their, like, their post-credit scene for the show to just do the musical in its
yeah,
entirety.
yeah,
That
I
was
thought that was
amazing.
great. I
It was
saw
awesome.
I saw an interview with one of the guys that was, in the musical, and he said there's somewhere, this was early on when the show was coming out, and he was like, "Somewhere there's a full recording of the whole thing." He's like, "We performed the whole thing." But he's like, "I don't know if it'll see the light of day." So I'm glad, like, Disney, like, threw it in there, and it was a nice
They had
little
to.
Christmas gift, like, fan service.
Yeah, they had to, 'cause that was amazing. That was perfect.
Yeah,
Fun little thing.
this is skipping ahead a little bit, but Dove Esquire's got a good question. So Hawkeye's wife is Mockingbird. Um, it looks like they went that route because in the comics, I think Mockingbird was, Agent 19 with Shield. So I'm pretty sure that was all confirmation. Um,
Totally.
so I don't know where they're gonna go with that. I don't know if that was just a nice little Easter egg, and like she, maybe in the future she might get her own story, or if somebody comes and attacks, Hawkeye's entire family, she might get some, action scenes and redemptions. But
Yeah.
she would
Yeah.
be great. Mockingbird's like main thing was like talking shit to enemies. So like she would, I forget the actress's name, but she delivers those lines so well, just like, shit
Right.
talking one liners. So it would work out perfect. Um,
Yeah, dude, I didn't know where they were gonna go where they were going with that, like, the watch thing, because it had so much significance and so much value to him,
yeah,
and, I didn't know where they were going with it, and then to have it be the reveal at the very end, and that's what it was on the backside of it. It was like, "Oh,
yeah,
cool."
that
Didn't
was
see that one
nice.
coming at all.
It was nicely done. Yeah, I was wondering, and I didn't see it coming at all. Um, but yeah, that was good. Who else did they introduce us to?
We so they bring back Natasha's sister, Yelena, in I think it was episode 4? Yeah, it was episode 4. So
Yeah,
she makes a who did Hawkeye introduces to again, so Yelena is there, and she's got a I mean, it's not a huge role, but she was in it, and at the end of, Black Widow, it was yeah, it was Black Widow, the post-credit scene where, um, she she blames Clint well, and who was it? Julia Louis-Dreyfus, speaking of
yeah.
Seinfeld, that's funny.
Contessa de La Fontaine. What's her name?
Dude, her name is slipping right
Yeah,
now.
it's super long. Let me look it up. Contessa
It's,
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna remember that, so
Yeah, just call
we'll
her
have a quiz in the middle
Contessa,
of the
I guess.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, and at the end, she was just telling her, "Hey, like, Clint Barton, blah blah blah, go kill him." And so they left it there. And then I had a feeling because they were doing to do the Hawkeye show, I knew she was going to come back, and like that we might see her pop up. And of course, we did, sure enough. And so her being back was cool. What do you think about her in the role, dude? Do you like her as
dude.
Yelena?
Yeah, I liked her a lot. And I always love the story. I'm very much an anti-hero kind of guy. So I like watching the story of her, coming after Clint, wanting to kill him, and then just seeing how they make her arc to kind of turn to
Totally.
become the new Black Widow in the MCU, to kind of become the good character.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. Her banter with Kate Bishop in the macaroni scene. That shit was good. Her
Yeah.
last scene with Clint, I thought was really good too. So just delivering that dialogue and like changing emotion from like wanting to kill somebody because she went through grief right in that fight with Hawkeye, dude. She went through like a few stages of grief where
Yeah.
she wanted to kill him and then she didn't want to believe him because that meant her sister chose to die. And then she
Mm-hmm.
was like processing that as they were fighting and trying to kill each other. So just watching that shit happen in real time, dude, and I thought she just absolutely killed it. What about
Yeah,
you?
absolutely, absolutely, man. I like the humor that she brings to the role. It's more like she thinks she's like such a badass that nothing phases her, and as you can kind of just she like any situation, you can kind of just like she lets things roll off her shoulder because like she's a Black Widow, so she can own you in
Yeah,
seconds if she wanted to. Like she lets, and I love that she uses Kate Bishop's full name just the whole time. It's Kate
yeah,
Bishop and not Kate, so she calls her that the whole time. And she's letting Kate get away with a lot of stuff because she could easily own her
yeah,
in seconds. Her life would be over. So I did like I like that she brings like this, a toughness that you can believe, but also is very like lighthearted about it and
yeah.
jokes around a lot.
And
So that's cool.
the interesting thing too, I thought was like they're both kind of the same age, but like obviously Yelena's had like she's very hardened, like she's gone through a lot of shit. So like that scene with the elevator where they're fighting to get to Clint and like
Yeah.
like Kate Bishop like is being like the little sister who like jumps in the elevator like when she's being told not to, and then she like hits all the buttons. I was like just
Yeah.
showing that mindset rather than like fighting her to try and stop her. She's like the annoying little sister. So I thought that was really good.
Totally.
Joelle, what's going on? I see you in
Yo, what's
chat.
up, Joel?
And great banter, babe. 100%.
Is that a
Um,
thing for you guys?
it's yeah. So it comes from watching fucking UK Love Island. Melissa loves that shit. But like
Dude, I've watched that show.
banter is such a good word. I don't know how else to describe it when like two characters or two people are, like they have a gift of gab. They're able to talk back and forth and be, quick with quips and everything. So banter just makes sense.
Totally. No, that's exactly what it is, and it's always fun to get into a good. Oh, she says if I want to, Mel says if I want to be friends, you have to watch it.
Just one
Just one
episode.
episode. Just one. That's it.
That's
I'll
all.
fucking watch. Sit down and watch the whole season with you. I don't think I've seen. I don't know
It's
if they come out with the other one
it's
for
a
this year.
yeah, they have a ton on Hulu. But yeah, it's kind of a guilty pleasure like trash TV reality show type of deal. Um,
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, that show.
it's pretty
But it's
bad.
like looking at the people on there and like seeing how they act, I feel bad that like I'm living in the times that I'm living in now.
Yeah.
It's like one of the times that I hate people. It's,
It's what we've
but then like
become.
we have these shows like Hawkeye, and Spider-Man that comes out, so like, I have a little bit more faith. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I watch Love Island, I just feel like a piece of trash. Just the biggest piece of shit.
Oh, it's definitely crazy times right now. All right, just to bring it back to so after Elena, I have Echo written down and
Yep.
she's super sick character. Another good arc where she went from, being a villain, trying to kill Clint, and then actually hearing Clint out. Especially as Ronin, and her arc where Clint killed her dad, but then Clint tells her, and she trusts him because he's like, basically ready to die. I feel like this whole
Yeah.
thing, Clint was like ready to die a few times. But
Did
seeing,
you?
I did
Because
honestly,
I don't think he would wanna leave his kids behind and his family. He really, really loves them.
100%. But at the same time, I feel like he understands like this whole thing is happening because he made bad decisions to put his family at risk.
Yeah,
And just at the same time, like, what would you do if your family fucking blips away from you and you're a trained assassin? Like, you would just go fucking nuts. Um,
totally. Yeah. I
but
would
yeah,
too if I had those skills and, like, Hey, your family's gone. Just go take out the bad people left in the world.
Yeah, if you have nothing else to live for, just fucking go for it.
Yeah,
Um,
because all his friends were gone too.
di-
Family, friends, everybody.
yeah. So Echo, believing him and seeing him as the Ronin, and still, piecing things together for herself, and then flipping on big Kingpin. And I was gonna mention Dub's comment where he just said, Kingpin's big ass hat. What a get up, dude.
Mhm.
He chooses a Hawaiian Christmas theme for his hideout in his restaurant.
Yeah, dude,
And then
that was a comic look.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I don't remember which one it was from, but when I saw it, I had remembered seeing it before, and then I was on Instagram and like they showed the side by side, and it was like like
Spot on.
perfectly, yeah, it was spot on. So that was great. Um, yeah, I know we kind of and you just talked about Echo, but just to reiterate that, like it was cool that they had a introducing sign into everything
Yeah,
and showing that part of it too, because a lot of people still. I mean,
bro.
it's just good to know. I feel like I've never learned that, but I always wanted to, just in case. But I've never come up. Honestly, I've never met like I might have met like one person in my life that couldn't
Yeah,
speak.
yeah,
And that was when I was a kid. So it's rare that I do come across them. It's weird that I haven't like more often.
yeah. And it's super sick to see that representation. Not only is she deaf and learning to sign, but then we see Clint, who's he is a mortal man, and he has
Yeah,
actually lost his hearing from going through all the battles and all the crazy bullshit. But yeah, so seeing that representation, and then Echo, also being an amputee with her metal leg was
yeah,
super cool to see. Um, but yeah, and that brings up kind of the next thing to segue is, so Kingpin, in the Netflix show that he was in, he two things real quick, I'll get the first thing out of the way. I love that they introduced him with the cane. The
hmm,
cane is such a classic comic book thing, and is his go-to weapon. So I love that he has a cane now, because in
yeah,
Netflix he didn't. But one small detail is, in the Netflix series he pretended to not know Chinese, when part of his backstory was he lived in China. And so him pretending to not know Chinese and need a translator was kind of to see if like the people around him were being honest. And
right.
so him just showing a little bit of sign language, like "I love you," and like just a few things that he says to Echo. I'm like, oh, dude, this dude's faking it too, just to see who's trustworthy, to see if the guy who's like Echo's brother, I forget the guy's name. But yeah,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that one dude who I
yeah,
don't know.
to see
He
if
was a
to see if he's translating the right shit, or to see if he's gonna turn on him. I'm like, dude, what a just like a mind play, bro. Like,
he's good at that shit.
yeah,
And then he takes a fucking arrow to the chest and and he just pulls it out. Like, what is it with him, like, why is he so fucking strong? And why does it seem like he has superpowers, but he doesn't? He's just a regular guy.
yeah. Netflix explained the bulletproofness and like the toughness that he wears armor underneath all his suits. And like if you look at the arrow thing in the
Mhm.
episode, when he pulls it out, there's all black underneath. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's still wearing armor in this one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he'd have to. That explains it. But, like, that explosion when Kate shoots him with the arrow at the end, and, like, dude, that would kill anybody, and he was totally fine. I mean, he
he's
was limping a little bit, but, I mean, he just he wasn't bleeding, he wasn't anything. He would just kinda got a few char marks on his fucking suit,
yeah,
and then he just walked away.
that's
I
why
don't know.
he's Kingpin, bro. Like, um
Yeah.
who knows? He has access to everything on the black market. So who knows if he got a tiny bit of the super soldier serum or some shit. But he was also hella strong, dude, when he fought Kate Bishop.
Mhm.
Just sent her flying. And dude, let's talk about that car, bro. The Kate Bishop's mom, when she hits him with the car, how does she go from being parked to like 90 miles an hour, like
I
in
thought
like
that too,
10
dude.
feet, dude?
'Cause I thought there was gonna be some reveal, like, "Oh, fuck, like, who smashed him into the wall?" 'Cause she was just
Yeah,
parked right behind,
yeah.
like, right behind them, and
I
I
totally
didn't. I was
thought,
like, oh, cool. Somebody's gonna get out of the car, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's sick. Like this person came to save her, and then no, it's her mom, and it took me a second to put it together. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did she have time? Because it was like seconds. It
yeah,
wasn't even like long time. It was seconds to not only start the car, drive it down the street, and have enough space
like
to
go
fucking
back.
haul that bitch right into him and smash him into the thing. And he didn't even die after that.
Yeah, that's
That too.
yeah. Oh yeah, I totally thought it was gonna be like a reveal of somebody else coming to help or save the day. Um, I thought that shit was hilarious, but yeah, dude. Dub has a good point. He goes, "I always thought he was a mutant. He's just all muscle and his skin is hella hard." It could
Yeah.
be, man. It's not a lot's known about his origin. Netflix tapped into it that he was just a normal kid, but who knows, man? In those like teenage years and his rise to becoming
Yeah.
Kingpin, like who knows? Um,
Hopefully they get a little bit more into it, because we don't even know if those shows are canon yet, like The
yeah.
Punisher and Netflix and all that stuff.
Are
So,
are they
unless they're just gonna
variants?
re-explain them. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they decide to officially introduce them, but unless they don't, and they're kind of just like, here they are, like how they did in this show. Like here's
Yeah,
Kingpin, he's been around, and he hasn't been talked about yet,
yeah.
and now here he is. So maybe they'll gloss over it, like Spider-Man too, the Tom Holland one. They didn't go into his origin at all. They just started.
Yeah. I thought that was a nice touch. We'll get into Spider-Man a little bit later, but yeah, overall that I thought that was a nice touch simply because we've heard the Spider-Man origin story so many times.
Yeah,
But Kingpin we haven't, dude. And like
on his mom's side.
yeah, on his mom's
Sorry, I was
side,
reading.
that's
I was reading
funny.
the comment. Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, dude, Kingpin, super dope. I'm glad he's here. They're gonna have to explain some shit because he was in jail last time we saw him. Um,
Right. Yeah. Wait,
so
he was still in jail? He didn't get out?
no, in Daredevil, I think it left with him in jail after
Oh,
Matt Murdock, almost killed him. Um,
yeah. Okay. I mean, I love that he still plays Kingpin the same way as in a Netflix show.
yeah, so good,
It's just
dude.
a really good portrayal of it. I like that he's got like this grungy voice, and he's like, he's like he
Yeah,
talks like a much bigger person than he actually is.
yeah,
I mean, even though he's a big guy, but like he talks like a monster almost.
yeah, like almost unhuman. I thought it was a weird choice too that like him and Hawkeye didn't. There was no conversation between them two. There was no interaction. But it did also push, Kate Bishop into like the lime into the spotlight into like her own role. I feel like that was like the test at the end of the class to really become, the next Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And it was all, at the same time, the fact that she survived him and bested, Kingpin, and then turns and she waits for the cops, or she called the cops. One of them called the cops on her mom and got her
I
mom
think Kate did.
arrested. So
I took it that Kate did.
yeah, yeah, same here. But it just wasn't shown. But the fact that she's stepping into a hero role, I thought that was a nice,
Yeah, it was.
nice, nice arc ending.
Especially since Clint told her earlier, I think in the same episode. Yeah, it was the same episode earlier that if she wanted to really do this, she was gonna have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, yeah, it
It's
was a
like
good
not
good
always
callback.
like the thing at home, would be like if you were a hero, would you turn your own family in if they did something bad? And then that's like a geeking out question, but
Yeah,
uh,
it's a whole conversation.
it's all the thing. Mini geek out. I don't know that I could. I don't think I could.
Yeah, I would.
'Cause I know my family, and I know their intentions, and, like, if they did something bad, well, I mean, murdering somebody on purpose is, like, somebody that had nothing to do with anything. That is kinda fucked up, and, like, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard. You don't really know until you're in that position, but
Yeah, and it all kinds of shit. Depends. It's all situational. But yeah, in certain situations, I could see it both ways.
Dub
Uh,
says, the battle for New York happened in the Netflix show, right?
yeah,
Mm, did it?
yeah, they
I
ref
can't
they
remember.
referenced it. They didn't talk about it directly, but they kind of referenced it like, oh, we don't want another New York, or we don't want another incident. Like it was just
Mm,
very I think they legally had to be careful about what they called it, so they just kind of
Right.
referred to it as like the incident.
Yeah. Shit, it's been a long time. I can't even remember. I saw those shows when they were coming out.
Yeah,
It's been like years.
same here. I had to do some quick studying to catch up. Um, yeah,
Well,
Mel's spamming the chat with emotes from our other channel. This is a
sweet.
good time to plug. You
Yeah.
guys tell your friends about us so that we can get some of our own emotes going. We can get affiliated and get you guys some fun shit to play with and just some cool things that we could add.
Oh, we'll give you something to play with. Um, but yeah, we need all the help we can get. Um, but yeah, also to speaking of plugging, you and Mel have another show uh where these are coming from. So
Indeed.
I'll let you take it away, dude.
Yeah,
Plug your other shit.
twitch.tv/Machoffin. You see it spelled in that emote. It's it's our last name's Macoff, but what we do is Machoff. So exactly, we be
Machoff.
Machoffin. Um
Machoffin.
so yeah, twitch.tv/Machoffin. It's just a Monday 7 p.m. Fun show. It's 7 p.m. PST. It's more current events, a little different dynamic because it's me and Mel. So we got the whole married couple thing going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good times. You guys can hear me talk twice a week. I don't know if anybody wants to do that besides you guys, but
Oh,
it's fun, man. It keeps me busy and out of trouble.
there you
Uh,
go. There you go. Don't get in trouble.
don't get in trouble. But
Yeah.
just to segue from that, having fun and keeping out of trouble, bro. How'd you like the end with Jack? Is it Jack Duquesne, whatever his
Duquesne.
last name is. Um, how
What guy?
he was
Trying to.
sitting with the larper, and the larper was telling him, she's like, "Oh, I saw you with that sword."
Oh yeah. You
Jacques.
know, in the beginning, I was like, "Oh man, this guy's fucking bad.
Yeah,
He's not good. He's a bad guy." He gives off the vibes that you can't trust him, but he was a charming son of a bitch. So I wanted to like him, but I knew that I thought that he was up to no good the whole time. And then when they were, in the middle of the show, when they were like, "Oh, he's been doing bad shit. See, I told you." And then he goes to jail, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I saw that one coming." But then you find out at the end of the show that he's actually not bad. It was the mom working with Kingpin, and they framed him. And I was like, "Oh, dude, like he actually is a charming son of a bitch, and he's not a bad guy."
yeah.
And then I
He was.
felt very relieved because I liked him. Feel like that's how feel like that's how gentlemen should be. Just like that, like super charming, dressed really well. He's got the hair. He knows how to fucking fence.
Yeah,
Like I feel like if we're gonna be gentlemen at some point, we have to learn how to fence.
yeah. I
The
feel like
swords are important.
it's in the handbook,
It's in the handbook.
the gentleman
Uh,
handbook.
but yeah, dude, and then he was a badass with the sword too at the end. He held back in the beginning against Kate, but then yeah, he actually showed off his skills and he was just slaying people left and right. And then yeah, at the end when he's hanging out with the LARPers, he's just like, "Oh shit, like I got blood on my tie." Looking down at it. But is there some significance to that I'm not catching? Because you brought it up for a reason.
I did. So in the comics, he's actually a character known as the Swordsman.
Mm,
He was actually the kind of like, how Hawkeye is the Kate Bishop, kind of guiding her and kind of like helping her.
yeah.
He was that to Hawkeye. Um,
Oh no shit.
yeah, so he was kind of like teaching him the ways, teaching him how to fence and fight. And he I thought they were gonna go that route with the show when they first kind of showed Hawkeye and him like interact when he had the sword from Ronin,
Yeah.
and he held Hawkeye like, held it to
Yeah.
his
He
neck
was like,
when he
"What
was
you
breaking
ting?"
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It was his neck. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, like they didn't show their interaction because they're, next episode they're gonna say, oh, they know each other. But at the same time, I kind of like that they switched it up because it kept me, just knowing that, it kept me thinking like, oh, maybe they're going a different route. Maybe he is going to be bad. He seems really bad. Like,
Yeah.
everything, was clear as day. Like, oh, that dude was murdered with a sword. Oh, this guy
Yeah.
has swords fucking all over his house. Like, it was too obvious, but at the same time, I fell for it.
So
And
did I. So did
yeah,
I, dude.
and
They set it up that way, and then I was waiting for the home run, and then they fucking stole home.
yeah,
You know, like it was like, oh, I didn't even see that coming. But really glad though, because I did like the guy.
yeah,
I didn't want to not root against him.
yeah, me too, dude. And he fucking killed it in the role, dude. He at the end there when he just let loose, and like you could tell he was having a blast. Because I feel like I feel like he's the type of dude. I feel like he's the type of dude that like loved fencing, but really wanted to do it for real and like take people out and shit. And so seeing him get at that opportunity, and he was having a blast, dude. Like,
It was.
and yeah, it was just really good to see. What a good like character, and the fact that they tricked, everything I've seen, everybody when I was watching it throughout the season, people were talking about him, and they were like, oh, he's obviously a bad dude.
Yeah.
The mom might kill him off, but or he's like a last minute fall guy, which he was supposed to be, but he actually got bailed out, by that rich dude. And then I thought it was hilarious the banter between the rich guy and the kid, or between Jack and the kid, about because it was that kid's dad that bailed him out.
Yeah.
And,
It was fucking their family name is Armand
yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Armand.
Ottoman. So seeing that shit, dude, was funny. He fucking killed it. I think he's gonna be. I see him, having a future possibly in the MCU, and because dude, the swordsman is a sick character.
I choose to roll the R's. Armand.
But dude,
Little fucking
uh,
spoiled blonde kid.
yeah, that's what's his name?
Uh,
Gustav from fucking Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Um,
is that wait
no,
who?
no, the
Oh,
little rich blonde kid, Augustus Goop.
Augustus Gloop.
Uh,
He was the German kid that ate everything, right?
yeah, yeah, that little kid just reminded me of him just being,
Remember he took a fucking bite out of the microphone
yeah.
in the original one?
Can I eat this? And he just fucking
Yeah.
chomps it. But yeah, dude, it just reminded me just because the kid was super spoiled, but he could hold his own talking shit to him.
Yeah, that was great.
But yeah,
Before we move on from Hawkeye, dude, and this is the last thing, what did you think of the fucking badass fight scene at the end when they were on the ice and they took out the entire fucking gang, and there was just like seemingly hundreds of them, and they just owned them with all their trick arrows.
yeah,
That was super badass, and for them only using arrows, like it was really a really well done action sequence, and they held their own, and they were in a costume, and Clint was in his costume. It felt like a really cool moment.
100%, man. And to actually see the trick arrows do some crazy shit.
Mhm.
And it was really kind of like a shining moment because, like you said, like we don't ever get a lot of like Hawkeye like action in the movies, and like his scenes
Yeah.
are always feel like short. Um, he's more to carry it when like not a lot of shit's going on.
Yeah.
But to
It's fucked
see,
up, huh?
yeah, but to
Fucked up.
see him just let loose, and then Kate Bishop, I understand the need for him, but I'm not too much of a fan of those montages, like putting shit together, like when they're putting the arrows together. Like
Oh,
I
right.
understand
Yeah.
it's necessary for us to cash in later. But this one paid off. Like we got to see all the cool shit. Kate, she was uh there was that moment where Clint gives her like more of these dangerous arrows. So we got to see her get excited and like take off with those and see all the pins and darts and the freezing arrow and like
Yeah, dude.
and the last one was so good. Um, with
The
the
Pym arrow.
yeah, the Pym arrow. With the Trust a Bro truck coming down like to run them over.
couldn't stop laughing at their fucking name. Their company's called Trust a Bro,
Trust a bro. It was so good, dude. And because
and all they did was say "bro" the whole time.
yeah, and it's such a good callback to the comics because it's so cheesy and ridiculous. They're Russians in tracksuits and all they say is bro.
Bro.
Fucking so good, man. And but yeah, in that fight scene, just super cool. That pin marrow that shrinks the truck, and they're still loud as hell, just talking shit.
Yeah, and Kate was like, "So what happens to them now?" And he was like, "I don't know. I'm gonna have to call Scott and ask him about that." And then what is it? The owl comes down and picks it up and takes it away.
Yeah,
And then he was like, "Well, there's that."
that takes care of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so fucking good, man. So
it
good.
was funny. They had a lot of good comedy in the show. There was a lot of good quips and overall, man, impressions are just I loved it. I think it was my favorite of all the shows that have come out so far. Like by a long shot, like not even close.
Yeah,
Like I love the MCU shows that have come out so far. You know, we had what WandaVision, and then we had Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we had what Loki, and then What If, and now Hawkeye. And Hawkeye definitely is. It kept my attention from start to finish. I love that it was grounded. It was more grounded than Falcon and Winter Soldier was. I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier tried really hard to ground it and like introduce a lot of political talk into it and bring in a lot of the stuff that comes in nowadays. And so I was like, oh, I mean, it's important to talk about that stuff for sure. But like when I'm watching a superhero show, like I want it to be light and fun and not so heavy handed. And that show tried to take it way too far on the opposite like end of the spectrum. And this one was just right where it was right in the wheelhouse, right in the pocket. I wanted it to be fun and funny and lighthearted. And even though the stakes were high for them, it wasn't like the end of the world stakes, but like their personal stakes were high. I just really really enjoyed the show, and it ended up being just something that I liked more than I thought I would when I first heard that it was going to get announced.
yeah, dude. Totally same here. I thought it was really good. I don't know if it's my favorite because I kind of like the wacky weird shit like we saw in Loki.
Uh-huh.
But of the grounded series, like you were saying, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was pretty good. They kept it grounded for the most part. There was some areas that, like you said, were a little too much. I can appreciate that. I appreciated it when it came out because it actually showed like Disney's willing to get a little serious and stay a little bit adult with these movies. It's not all these series aren't just going to be about like selling toys and shit and selling merch at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. But the end of that Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of, you know, went a little bit cheesy to me. Just, Captain America's new suit is like 100% all this crazy tech and flashy colors. So I like that this one kind of stayed in the pocket of reality. We didn't
Hmm.
see Hawkeye with any crazy gadgets or budget. It would stay grounded through and through. And
Right.
I love the real world aspect that they brought to it of like, Clint losing his hearing, Rogers the musical, all
I
these,
fucking love that.
witnessing, Kate Bishop witnessing Hawkeye like fight aliens, and that's her reason for becoming a hero and doing all this shit as a kid, like gymnast and archery and like judo and all that shit. Um, and yeah, dude, I gotta love him too for bringing in Kingpin and having him, you know, have his future be questionable. But
Yeah.
he's too big of an actor for this to just be it. So I really enjoyed the show. I would say this is maybe second behind Loki, out of the shows that came through.
Nice.
So
Second's pretty good though. Second's pretty high.
yeah, I agree, man.
I do want to bring up one thing. I was watching the show with my girlfriend last night, and um, she brought up a really good point. She brought up this point, right? And I never really thought about it before, but she was like, "So I don't understand because the Avengers, they saved the world time and time and time again, the universe even in
Yeah,
Endgame, they saved half the universe.
yeah,
But like, and then they're run by Shield and like the world governments and stuff from the Sokovia Accords." Which I'm not sure if that's still a thing after them saving the universe. I don't know if they took them off. That's not explained yet, right? So,
yeah,
but I bet you these government people are making more money than they do. Like, they don't make money. The Avengers don't make money.
Yeah.
They were just I think they were riding the coattails off of Tony Stark the whole time and just kinda doing that, but, like, wouldn't you give money to the people that are saving the planet? Like, she just brought up a good point. She's like, "How come they're not rich?" You know, like, why are the agents, probably making more money than them to run this team, and the team doesn't make the money, but the team is the one doing all the work? I
Dude,
don't know. You know what I mean? Just,
yeah.
like, I never really thought about that before, but I was like, "You know what? You're fucking right." Like, these I was saving the planet. I'd wanna make some money too.
Yeah. And honestly, like where my gut comes from is like I would think kind of like when you're the best at your position at a job, but if you don't ask for more money, if you don't ask for a raise, if you don't, if it doesn't matter to you, like if financially if you're good, like you're not going to get it. So I feel like the government may just, this is me just grabbing at straws to make sense of
Yeah,
it. But I feel like the
sure.
government just takes advantage that, oh, they're not doing this to get rich. They're doing this to literally save the world. Like and they like who knows how Clint's family like has can keep up with the bills and shit at the farm. So maybe the government just takes care of their shit and they say, "Oh, we're not going to pay you, but you don't need to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to have this extravagant life, but at the same time, your family doesn't need to
It's
do
so
anything."
fucked up though, you know?
But
Like
honestly, I could see governments fucking doing that shit, dude.
oh, sure, and it's just the same with,
100%.
like, any job too, like, any sort of job, they're gonna they'll see you have skills, and I feel like you're like, it makes logical sense, like, I'm gonna pay this person, not the minimum, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
pay them kinda average, right? And
Yeah.
then if you start showing skills and you're just killing it and crushing it and you're doing so well, like, why are they gonna come to you and be like, "You know what? You've been crushing it. I'm gonna pay you more."
Yeah.
Like, they're just gonna wait until you say something.
Until you say some
I know
shit.
if you do say something, no, they're not gonna put up a fight if you're great at what you do. They're gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Okay, okay, okay. Like, we got you. Don't go
Don't
anywhere.
leave us. Yeah.
Don't leave us. Yeah, we need you. We'll pay you whatever it is that you're worth." And, like, that's a universal thing. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's just some of that line of thinking too.
Yeah.
But they don't ever really, 'cause it kinda comes up every now and again, like, in a small way, not in a major way, like, "Oh, we don't make money," but it's kinda like, like Spider-Man doesn't make any money, so he's not
Yeah.
getting paid. He's living in that apartment with that man, well, we'll get to that in a
We'll
minute,
get to
but
that.
it's probably a good segue actually to go to the next topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, like, she brought it up and I was like, "Oh, man, that's I never thought about that before, really."
Yeah, it's a good question. And Mel's saying all the superheroes have side hustles. So that's a possibility too. Tony Stark
It's side hustle.
definitely has side hustles, dude.
Yeah, he's got side everything.
Um and including sideburns. No, but dude, the other the segue I was gonna choose is how weird was it that Hawkeye ends in Rockefeller Center, like
Mhm.
at the ice rink with the tree,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man ended in the same exact spot. But obviously, I don't know the timelines yet. I haven't studied and dove in that far to see where
Uh,
everything is on the timeline. But dude, in the same fucking spot in the entire world, both movies that
people
come out within days, like just end in the same spot.
that was a big rumor on the internet that Spider-Man was gonna pop through in this last one,
Yeah,
seeing all the shit go down and help them. But and that made sense to me, and I was like, "Wait a minute, did Marvel really plan this shit out that far ahead and those plans are spot on then to release Spider-Man 1 week before you release the Hawkeye season finale, and it's, like, just in the same place at the same time
yeah.
with the same snow, the same everything, right? Like, everything,
Just
so
use the same
I was like,
shot.
"Dude," I was like, "Man, these guys are fucking good."
Um,
And that could still have been the case, you never know. Maybe that's how they set up Kingpin to start to get into the Spider-Man thing. Um, Maybe they keep the back door open for that kinda introduction.
yeah.
Um, but where was I going with that? Jesus.
Let's just jump into it, man.
Let's just get into Spider-Man then.
All right. Where did Spider-Man No Way Home leave us? Is our next question we're going through.
Well, uh, first of all, dude, before you saw the movie, let's talk about how hyped we were to go watch it in the first place.
Oh yeah, dude.
And
They
yeah.
with with all the leaks, even with all the leaks, I was still super pumped and like didn't think we saw the whole movie or didn't, and I tried to stay away from spoilers, especially coming up, when the movie a few people saw it
Yeah.
before public. Like I was trying to stay away from all that shit, but I was super hyped, dude. We were texting back and forth. How were you, dude?
Yeah, I mean, shit, that was something that was a long time in the making. They said that the last one or this one, well, they kept calling it like the last in this story arc of Spider-Man, which it ended up being. Like, yeah, it's gonna move in a whole different direction now.
Mhm.
But the build up to it was insane. Felt like every other week we were just getting leaks and leaks and leaks and like shit that was accurate, shit that wasn't accurate. And whether we wanted it or not, we were seeing stuff on Instagram's a fucked up place, man. Cause like just go through the explore page and then all of a sudden you'll just come across something. It's like bam. It's like and without anybody, because some people are assholes and they don't put spoiler or anything. It's just like an image.
Yeah.
And then at that point you've seen it, so you click on it, right? And then you start reading the caption and everything, and it's like, oh, this person leaked this from this thing, and here's what it's gonna be, and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't even ask for that, and it's just fucked up that it has to come to that now. And so going into it, Kevin and I talked about it. We're like, well, dude, like they leaked so much stuff already. Like, how are we supposed to be excited when I feel like I know the plot of the movie? And but that being said, I was still super pumped to see it. The reviews came out beforehand, and they were like, "Hey, everything that everybody thinks that they know that got leaked, there's so much more to the movie than that, and that it was incredible and amazing, and it all, even the stuff that you didn't know, it happens in a way that you're not even, we weren't aware of, and that it's different and it hits differently." And so I was like, "Cool, like I'm really excited to go watch this now again." After all that, and then, dude, yeah, going to see it. I saw it first out of the three of us, and me and Kevin. It was just fucking incredible, dude. That movie was amazing. I haven't been around a crowd that got that excited since Avengers Endgame when we saw it, everything happen at the end.
Mhm.
And it was awesome. Number one, just to be back at the movies again and watching, having the theater be filled up with people and everybody's excited and everybody's just like down to be there to watch this like huge movie. So that was like really exciting. And just to be there and see it go down in person, dude, I couldn't have been more excited, and it definitely, like, knocked it out of the park for me.
Yeah, dude, and it totally, um like you said, even with all the spoilers and the possible leaks and everything, like it's
Yeah.
still delivered, and just that experience too. I mentioned that to Melissa, like she came with me to watch it. I was like, I don't remember the last time people were like cheering and yelling and like super hyped like in the theater. So getting back to that experience was good. Um, Joe Dizzle's saying they announced Spider-Man 4 today, right? I There's so many rumors, and that's, to me, that's a sign of a great movie when there's so many rumors coming out
Yeah.
in different directions afterwards. But yeah, dude, I thought it was an incredible movie. I did find some stuff to nitpick, but it's all just that. It's just nitpicking. But I
Fuck yeah,
thought
you did, dude.
I thought it
Fuck
was
yeah, you did. I
I
wanna
thought it
hear the
was
nitpick stuff.
really, really well done. And yeah, with that, we can jump right into it if you're ready.
Yeah. Um, yeah, what was, so let's get to the first so, at the end of the last Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, the post-credit scene was that he gets outed as Spider-Man, right? And so this movie picks up exactly where that one left off, which I love when movies do that. It's like an old school thing, right? To like literally the first scene of the new movie is the last scene of the last movie, and
Yeah, it's nice.
it's seamless, right? So you just pick right up literally where that one left off.
Yeah.
And I love when movies do that because it feels way more seamless. Like Back to the Future is really good at that. Uh Not necessarily Star Wars. No, Star Wars isn't like that, but what was, some other ones? There's some other ones, dude, where they just you know what I mean? Like, it just feels really natural and flowy,
Yeah,
and so you're just sucked right back into the story again. There's no build up, you're just jumping right into it. There's no slow pace in the beginning, you're just in it.
yeah,
And so I love that that happened. And, everything seems alright at that point, and then, the first big surprise of it is, Peter's gonna need a lawyer to get himself out of the shit that he's in, and who's the lawyer in the movie, dude?
fucking Matt
I'll
Murdock,
I'll let I'll
dude.
let you
Yeah,
Matt Murdock.
that's that's my first nitpick. That one I actually, right when it happened, I was just like, oh, dude, like, I get it. Hopefully there's a cut that's like 4 hours long that like cashes in on all this shit. But like, so like, I get that it's a fan service to introduce him right there. Um, but yeah, that's one thing. They didn't show Peter in court at all. I thought that was gonna
Yeah,
be before the movie came out. I thought that was gonna be a crazy scene where Peter's having to defend himself and like talk through all this crazy shit that happened.
yeah,
And the public is totally on Mysterio's side. We see it through graffiti. See it through signs, even when Peter's headed into court. Um,
totally.
but the dude,
Yeah, they don't trust him.
yeah, but Matt Murdock as a lawyer, and he doesn't get to lawyer. Like he was there for like 10 or 15 seconds. To me, I'm like, I want to see a little bit more if you're gonna spend this time to introduce him, and more than just like, oh hey, there he is, and then everybody clapped in the theater, and then like before the
So
clapping
did
was
I.
done, yeah, so
Screaming
did
like
I.
a bitch.
Before the clapping was done, he was off the screen and gone. Like I had to check myself. I was like, did I fall asleep for a second? Did I miss it?
No, I know what you mean, because, like, he was Peter was in trouble for something so major, like, that was, like, worldly, you know? So, like, there's people around the globe that loved Mysterio because they felt like he saved the world, and all of us, they think that Peter just murdered this guy, so how is he gonna get off that easy, or how was it so simple for him to just not be in trouble anymore? And
Yeah,
that's within the first 15 minutes of the movie. He's already off, like, everything's good, and, it just seemed like it happened so fast, right? But, and yeah, so I actually thought that the first like part of the movie, like the first big part, would be a trial for Peter and
yep,
showing scenes of like how tough it was going to be to get him off, and
yep,
then showing Matt Murdock's skills as a lawyer. But there was so much other shit in this movie that was crammed in, and the movie was already 2.5 hours
yeah.
that
That's
like we didn't have the luxury of being able to explore that route and that pathway. If this was a TV show, that could have been a whole episode
yep.
just dedicated to, like in a whole full hour just of getting Peter off. Because then you don't know. You're like, well, is he
An
gonna go to
hour.
jail? Yeah. In 1 hour, Peter gets off from Matt Murdock. He's gonna he's
It
that good
take
of a lawyer. Trust me, you want him.
it takes
Uh
Peter an hour to get off.
uh oh boy.
That's when we're
That was
canceled. No,
that was definitely a left turn.
but yeah, man, no, that's 100% what I'm saying, and that's what I thought too. But at the same time, I was just like, okay, this movie is full of a ton of other shit. This movie's made for action. Sony likes to fucking pump movies. Sony likes to pump movies full of action.
Yeah.
Uh, they're not gonna
Yeah.
sit there for
They're
an
gonna
hour just trying to get Spider-Man off.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they like it quick and dirty.
but yeah, man. So I understand that, but I got a nitpick
It's
on that.
okay.
Um, but yeah, we can
Yeah.
from there we can segue into Joel's question here. So he's saying, so help me out, guys. He reversed his slime stained suit. I was a little confused in that. So that I think that came after the court case. Somebody slimed him with green slime, a
Yeah.
Mysterio supporter. And so yeah, I don't think we really saw it.
Aunt May cleaned it for him.
Okay, but in the meantime, so where did that black suit come from? Because it did look like a suit turned inside out.
It was, he got it from Strange's basement. Um, I don't know why Strange had a Spider-Man suit that was black, but It was black and gold, they had, like, the gold on it,
Yeah,
and, it was black, and it just I didn't understand where that came from, but apparently there was one there,
yeah,
and that's what he was wearing, so I didn't know where the black one came from. I thought it was sick. It was, like, a super cool suit,
100%.
but I didn't know where that came from. But,
And
yeah, I mean, Peter says later on, he tells May, he's like, "Thank you for cleaning my suit."
that's
So she
true.
she got it out for him.
Yeah, but I love the we did see Strange give him
Yes,
that
he
spider
did.
wristlet thing.
Sorry,
Um
I was responding to Joel.
and
He did.
we saw Strange give him that magic wristlet thing, so that could have been like maybe, they should have added like a nanotech to that wristlet thing to make it black and more stealth like. But that's another nitpicking detail that
Mhm.
could be included in the 5 hour supercut. Um, but I do love the DIY aspect of Peter taping the phone to keep in
Oh, it's great.
contact with Ned and
That's
Zendaya. That still shows that he's just a kid, and like you said, he doesn't have a budget. Like Tony Stark's gone, so like he doesn't have any money to really do a high tech quick little thing to figure out. He just duct
dude,
tapes the phone to him.
that's one of the things that when I was texting you and Kev about was that, like, this is probably the best Spider-Man story and live adaptation that they've ever done from a comic, is because that is like vintage Peter Parker from the comics.
Yeah,
He, that kind of shit. I mean, they didn't have cell phones back then when they were doing the comics, but it's that kind of thinking, like, oh, I want my friends to come with me, so I'll just duct tape. Which is funny that he didn't use his own webbing
yeah,
because it was stronger than duct tape, right?
yeah.
But he used duct tape to duct tape his cell phone to his chest, and, like, it's like that kinda thing, like, those little details, I'm like, "Man, that's pretty cool that, somebody cared enough to pay that much attention to, being authentic to the comic."
Yeah, and throw that in there. That scene I thought was cool. I thought Jamie Foxx was a little too sly, maybe a little too much actual Jamie Foxx. But he
He's
quickly
dying, dude.
he he
He had me
quickly
dying.
he what?
He had me dying.
Yeah, he was
Like, I
good.
was I was cracking up.
He was funny. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I do like that he addressed super quickly, like, oh, this energy's yellow. Like, oh, I'm
Oh,
not
right.
blue. I look a lot better. Like he just quickly just addressed that and put us trying to nitpick and find out why, quickly put that all to bed.
I brought that shit up to, at the end of the night as I was talking about it with my girlfriend, and we're just laying down, and I was like, like, oh, because she didn't see the Garfield Spider-Man movies, where he came from. I mean,
Yeah,
he was the blue, so I was like, "Oh, man, I need to show you what he looked like in these movies because it's a totally different look," right? So I showed her the blue one, and I was like, "Dude, like," and then also what he looked like before he was blue.
yeah,
I was like, "He really changed," and they actually addressed that in the movie. The guy, I think it was a lizard or something, right? He was like, "Whoa, you're like, what did they give you, like, a makeover in this
yeah,
universe or
yeah,
something?"
yeah,
Because yeah, and the original one with Garfield, he had, like, strands of loose hair just, like, kinda it's, like,
the
sweatily
comb over. Yeah,
fucking combed over across his face,
yeah,
and he's, like, these really weird glasses. He almost looked like he had acne, but he didn't, but his skin just, like, looked weird, and here, he looks like Jamie Foxx, so he's got, like, the clean cut, smooth
yeah,
skin, smooth buttery skin, just, total opposite of how he used to look, and so they completely remade him over, and, they gave him confidence, they
hmm,
gave him an air of coolness, and before he would totally didn't believe in himself. He was just like this nerd and, like, sciencey guy that people would make fun of for being locked in a basement in
yeah,
your laboratory. And so I actually did like the version that they made him be in this one,
yeah,
because I like that confidence too. I like feels more like a villain.
yeah,
Like, a
hundred
villain
percent.
isn't gonna sit there and think that they can't do anything. Like, they're if villains are over fucking confident on stuff,
Yeah,
and that's usually their downfall. So I did like the angle that they brought to him this time around. I'm glad they rectified that and fixed it.
yeah. He
Uh,
was he was totally. It reminded me of Nutty Professor, just going from
yeah,
super
yeah,
super nerdy,
yeah,
like unknown dude to like this like super smooth guy. And like honestly, villains, that happens when they get drunk with power. So him like
yep,
coming in and then addressing that, oh, this this world's power is super different. It's way stronger. Like, and then having the confidence and being like, damn, I look good. Like that could
Hmm.
change him. That could change
Totally.
his personality. And I think that worked well in the arc of, just Tom Holland trying to fix everybody, but these villains are kind of like teetering on the edge of like wanting to stay here and conquer everything versus getting fixed and going back home. Um, but yeah, dude, it was
That brings up a point to me that you bringing that up
yeah,
is
go
what
for it.
did you think about the villains?
I thought the
How did
villains.
you like? How do you feel about them? Did they feel villainy enough for you?
I think I think they crushed it. I think it started out a little bit soft with the villains, but I think Doc Ock came out and crushed it. Like his entrance was sick. Um, but I think it got a little weird, and I understand how hard it is to kind of navigate getting all these villains and trying to fix them. But dude, 100%, Mel brings it up in chat. Willem Dafoe fucking killed it, dude. This
He did.
was one of the best movies I've
Smashed
ever
it.
seen him act in, and I'm so glad that it was reprising his role as Green Goblin, and just the whole backstory of him not even agreeing to do the movie unless he can do his stunts. And then
Yeah.
I heard in an interview earlier today that he wanted to do his stunts because it would give him more of a feeling to hate this Spider-Man. So like being in these long scenes and being like in these fight scenes and being physically involved with Tom Holland, physically fighting him back, it built them. It quickly made them really dislike each other. And I think that just kind of stole the show and took it over the top. Um,
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was fantastic. He did such a good job of not being in that role for a long time and coming back, and I mean 20 years. It's been 20 years since he
bro,
did
and
that
he's
role. So
Mel
he
looked it up.
fucking looks exactly the same.
Yeah, Mel looked it up earlier, but the dude's nearing he's like in his mid 60s, I think. Um I just thought that was incredible, bro. And how strong they made him in this one. His the demon inside has had this, kind of awakening and kind of this full
Yeah.
blown, the fact that the demon inside was able to take over enough to control him and play coy, to being this homeless guy. That was one plot leak I heard leak early on, and I was like, okay, there's no way, dude. There's no way that's gonna be believable, but it fucking was, dude. It really
Yeah,
was.
like the Goblin let him take over. Like the Goblin sat back and watched him just, because yeah, you don't want to be controlled, and you don't want your dark half to take over, and you get scared because you don't know what it's gonna do, and the Goblin kills people, and you don't
Yeah,
want to be around for that because that's not who you are.
yeah.
So he did a really good job of balancing both, like this like really sensitive and kind of just like shit happen. What's that, like helpless, and you feel bad for
Just
him when
really
he's like
coy.
that.
Yeah,
But then, yeah, man, when Goblin comes back and just takes over, then he just is an evil son of a gun.
unbelievable, dude. Yeah, he's 66. He fucking crushing
66.
it, dude. And Tom Holland's like in his 20s, and the fact that they looked evenly matched, and Goblin looked a hell of a lot stronger, and he totally pushed Tom Holland to actually look like he's having to do some shit. Because all these other fights that we've seen Tom Holland involved in, it didn't really ever feel like, oh fuck, like he's actually getting hurt or he might die. Thanos was the closest one, but he was surrounded by all these other like super powered people. It's like, okay, like
Mhm.
he's not really individually getting beat to shit. And so
It's happening.
Kokoshuko.
Happening.
Um yeah, and the emotional switch that we saw, I feel like his character was the most complex of the villains.
Oh, absolutely.
And so seeing
Absolutely.
seeing the emotional switch, and it's no prosthetics, it's just him and his fucking face, and the fact that you can tell like when Tom Holland Spider Sense was going nuts, and then he looks back, you're like, oh shit, like he's Goblin. before he says anything, it's just like unbelievable, dude. Such a good performance.
Yeah, and Mel says you can see the switch in his eyeballs. Yeah, like that's just a he doesn't need makeup. I mean, and in like the comics and the animated series, Green Goblin has got a fucked up face and like actually looks like a goblin.
Yeah,
And like you don't need and I that was always a quip of mine in the original Sam Raimi trilogy. I thought that I was like, oh, like they're gonna have like this plastic fucking helmet
yeah,
that looks like that, but like I felt like they should have done prosthetics because I enjoyed the look of something really scary.
yeah,
Um, and then now I appreciate him like he doesn't need that. He doesn't need that to be scary, and you can
yeah,
see it in the face, and like the acting is just incredible. But then, and that also drives me back to the original trilogy again. And when he was in the first one, I was like, why did they cover this man's face at all in the first place? The whole movie, he had to wear the mask and like
yep,
the plastic thing, like the big, I don't know what the fuck, like a tub.
yep,
It's painted green over his head, and it is just it was a disservice to him as an actor because he just can do anything, and if you can act through your eyes, you can portray anything you want.
yeah. And dude, I feel like Sony MCU thankfully rectified that. Just like with Jamie Foxx, they got rid of the helmet in the first 10 seconds of seeing him.
Yeah,
So I thought that was a great move and a great way to explain it. But yeah, and then the subtle hints they actually made, to me, it felt like his transformation of his costume, it felt like it made sense. I remember you and I were talking about it because there was one, I don't know if it was a leak or a storyboard drawing, but there was a picture of him like with no helmet on and he had goggles, and it's like, how the fuck is he gonna go to that?
yeah,
They fucking made sense again
yeah,
of that. Just to
yeah.
back it up in chat really quick, Joel brings up a point I'm going to talk about. I didn't know Wong got promoted. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I got a whole Doctor Strange thing with that post credits preview we got. Um,
All right, we'll
Joel
do that.
also,
We'll come back to you, Joel, on that one.
yeah, and he says
I
I
mean, it
don't,
did happen during the Spider-Man movie, but
yeah.
yeah, like we can lump Wong into Doctor Strange. Uh,
Joel wants
uh,
a goblin mask to have in his house when he takes shots of
that's
Patron.
Patron. Yeah,
Um, I'm
dude.
sure your wife can see that demon change in your eyes, dude. I don't think you
Oh,
need
it's
that mask.
yeah, dude. When I've been drinking, like it's easily
Yeah.
portrayed on my face.
Yeah, when you turn into a demon, when we all turn to that purple demon emoji. Um
Yeah, it happens. It happened last week actually on on this show. Uh, like halfway through.
I thought, so if you guys push us to get more popular, we'll keep the recording on, and you guys can even hop in some of the after show chats that we have. Possibly we can do fun shit like that. We just got to grow the channel a little bit more and unlock those features.
Sure.
um
Yeah. Start telling your friends. Tell your friends.
Tell you.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
But yeah,
Uh,
last week was good, dude. Marcus was gone, but we were still
oh,
discussing this week's show, and yeah, dude, it's entertaining. It's a whole nother show.
there's
Yeah,
our what do we like to call it after dark. We joke about calling it after dark, but yeah, I don't know.
fully
Legion of Geeks.
extended A4 or some shit.
Yeah.
Um,
When we extend your A4 treatment.
overextended. Um,
Yeah. Overextend it. That's perfect.
but
That's
dude,
amazing.
uh, really,
Overextended. That's perfect, dude. Yeah,
so
Legion of Geeks overextended.
that's pretty good. Um,
That's perfect.
we'll clip that and save that. But yeah, dude, I think going back to the original question, I feel like the villains were villainy enough. There were some weird half-second moments. Sandman switched. Sandman was the only one that we left with him, resolving shit with Toby
Mhm.
in their universe. So he was the only one that kind of started out, still wanting to help Spider-Man and be good. I thought
Yeah,
that was a nice touch to help him, solve Electro, because how the fuck is Peter gonna solve this guy on his own?
right.
But
Yeah,
Sand,
he helped Tom Holland and
yeah,
when he first came through.
yeah, and Sand absolutely grounds electricity. Like that shit works.
Yep.
Physically in my mind, it makes sense. So I just thought, there was a few moments where he switched back to being on the, oh, I want to stay in this world and have power, and I was like, that makes no fucking sense, dude. But again, that's super nitpicking. But I thought everybody did an incredible job. Doc Ock, his switch was nice to see, and a good arc, because we see that a lot in the comics, and in the 90s series, we actually see him and Spider-Man go back and forth a lot. So it was good to see him switch back to good and have that switch happen and organically make sense.
Yeah.
That kind of
Shit.
sick. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, dude. I was gonna say he went from good to bad to good in the same movie on the first one, the original one, to bad to good in this one.
Yeah.
So he's made he's all over the fucking place.
Yeah. And
Um,
the detail of the lights on the octopus tentacles, when they're
yeah,
they're in charge, it's the lights are red. When he's in charge, it's white. That's a nice little tell, and like the fact that they kept it for this movie was good.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I love that they used Iron Man's nanotech to control the suit and get him subdued.
Dude, that
It was-
was that was such a good technology move, because that
yeah,
shit literally wasn't around. Like Bluetooth may have been on the very like beginning, but
mm-hmm,
the fact that him controlling it without being it connected to him but still paired like a Bluetooth pairing,
yeah,
like the fact that Doc Ock didn't know that shit existed, because like that's old, his universe had old technology. This universe has, cutting edge Stark tech.
yeah.
Such a sick detail, and
I
such
know.
a clean and easy way to how to to answer how the fuck does Peter get out of the grasp of Doc Ock. And I thought it was so
He
nice
was
that,
getting owned. He was getting owned for a while.
yeah.
He couldn't handle him.
And
It almost seemed like Doc Ock was even stronger here than he was in in the original trilogy.
dude,
Uh,
everybody felt stronger.
yeah, everybody felt stronger.
It was
It didn't
crazy.
seem like Peter was. I mean, he could even stand a chance against them one on one.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean that felt better because yeah, in the other ones, it's always like I don't know, Spider-Man's gonna save the day. He's gonna come through and he's gonna win ultimately. But like these ones, the stakes felt so much higher. It felt
Yep.
like he didn't like Peter could lose
Yep.
easily.
And
Um,
it set the whole movie and the whole feeling that like Peter really needed help from people who knew these guys.
mhm.
Like if it would be, a movie twice as long if they had to get hella other people involved to try and figure out these guys for the first time. But the
Mhm.
fact that it really helped, with Spider-Man coming in, and then even Andrew Garfield saying, "Oh, I already solved the lizard once. I know what he
Oh,
needs.
we're getting into it now, huh? We're gonna go. We're just gonna go for it.
Just go."
'Cause
Yeah.
I was gonna say one of the things, and I told you and Kev again. I'll bring it up again, but like just that this was an amazing Spider-Man story, right? There was up to date to now. Tom Holland as Spider-Man has always had the help of like an Avenger will come in here or there, and like, or he was part of a larger ensemble, so he's a part of the Avenger movies.
Yep.
Or but he always had Tony coming in to help him in his standalone movies. So there was always that presence of like somebody from the Avengers is going to come and help me.
Yeah.
Um, this one, no Avengers, no help, but in order to take down 6 villains, he was going to need some help. And like we're gonna go into it now, dude. Here it comes,
Yeah.
right?
He
I'm
always
sure, I'm
had.
sure anybody who's seen it already knows what happens. But he gets the help he needs in himself from other multiverses, other universes.
Yeah.
Who do we
Those.
see first? Who comes through that portal first, dude?
Yeah. I thought it was a nice touch. So Andrew comes in. The way they did it, I liked it. It was hilarious with Ned, being able to have some magic.
Ty
Ty,
says, "Don't spoil it for him."
you already
Hey,
had
Ty,
your
we know you've
chances.
seen it.
Um, but yeah, you had your chances. Here's your other one.
There you go. We'll
Spoilers
do it again.
for the last
Can you put a
hour.
middle finger in there too, or no? Yeah, hold
Not on the
on.
fly. Um,
No.
but dude, yeah, Andrew comes in. It was such a nice touch. It was,
He's Mel. He's fucking with you.
yeah.
Ty has definitely seen this movie.
Um,
Maybe twice.
Possibly. But
Yeah, he's
dude,
laughing.
having that shot of Andrew Garfield so far away so you can't tell how tall and lanky he is. I
Right.
thought that was good. Him looking lost, I thought was really good.
Dude,
But
I
yeah, it was
fucking we all knew.
yeah,
We all knew. Yeah, yeah. You could tell in the suit too. Um, because Tom Holland has the really tiny spider on his chest,
yep.
and like I saw immediately. I was like, and the eyes too, because
The
the
eyes are
eyes are so
huge.
different.
Yeah.
His eyes were huge on the Andrew Garfield one,
It's the most
and so
comic accurate costume in my opinion for sure. And just the length.
until the end of the
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah,
but
until the end.
but yeah,
This far.
but he comes through, right? And at that point, like, it was deafening in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Everybody was screaming. He didn't even take off his mask yet, but everybody already knew.
Yeah.
I don't even think they knew which one. I think, like, because you couldn't tell. It could have either been Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. You couldn't tell. Like, the suits are somewhat similar, but, you couldn't tell. You're just excited for him to come through. And then he pulls his mask off, and it's Andrew Garfield. And, like, dude, so this is one of the things that I brought up earlier. It's like, even though those leaks came out where everybody's saying like this could happen and you're reading it and you hear it from a bunch of different people, it still hits really hard when it actually happens, and like you don't know how it's done, but it happens and it's in an unexpected way, and like you never thought it was going to be in what was it, Ned's, what is it, his
His
grandpa
grandma's house.
or grandma,
Grandma. Yeah.
grandma, yeah,
Lola.
yeah, Lola grandma, in her house. So you would never know that that would happen, and
Yeah.
especially with Ned,
Sling ringing
having
him.
the magic and using that and having the portal come through.
Yeah.
You didn't expect it that way. So it was just really exciting to see it, even if you knew that it was going to happen at some point, because of all the leaks and stuff. But you didn't know how it was going to happen, so it was really exciting when it did.
Yep.
And the whole theater just went nuts. Ty says his theater was lame. He was the only person who cheered in a packed theater. Yeah, dude, that's lame.
You need to get out of there.
That's lame, dude. It should have been in our theater. It
Go
was
somewhere
crazy out here.
else.
Yeah.
Come to California, watch a
Probably just
movie.
move to California, I guess. We stop by. Ty, we gotta have you as a guest. We had Kev on as a guest last week. If you ever want to come and stop by, I'd love to have you, dude.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We got to get you in here in the future episode pretty quick. In the new year.
In the new year.
But yeah, man. And then
Yeah.
who came in next, bro? Not too long after.
So after that, Thor comes in. No, yeah, he's wearing a spider costume.
Spider Thor.
Spider Thor. No, so they are continuing to look for Peter Parkers, and so Ned tries again for the second time, and a portal opens up, and we see a dude standing there in normal clothes. We all know who it is at that point. Like, yeah, my theater was going crazy. Before he even showed the face, everybody already knew who it was. So did
Yep.
I. And Tobey Maguire steps through, and do you have like I grew up watching that as a
Yeah.
kid. It was incredible because that movie came out in the year 2002, and so it's about to be 20 years next week
Yeah.
since I started with that, and
And
it was just fucking crazy to see him step through, and like I never thought I'd see him on screen again. I love the Andrew Garfield ones too, for what they were, because I thought Andrew Garfield, like as Spider-Man in the costume, looked really fantastic, and
yep.
the movements and like the shots and the action sequences, he looks fucking like great, right?
Yeah.
As Peter Parker, I'm not sure, because I feel like Andrew Garfield is like way too good looking to be a Peter
Way
Parker.
too cool, dude. They
He's
had him
too cool. He's too
skateboarding.
cool. He's like a GQ model.
But
You know, it's like
they had Peter Parker skateboarding and like kick flipping and like high fiving the
yeah,
quarterbacks, and it's like
yeah.
Peter Parker doesn't do that, dude.
No, he's like nerdy. He's got the glasses, and you push him up in the from the middle.
Yeah.
Like when the nerds have the thing, they push their
Yep.
glasses up on the bridge. That's supposed to be who he is. He's not supposed to be good and cool and good with the girls and all that stuff. It's not him.
It's
So I didn't buy that, and I didn't like the backstory of like, his dad being a researcher and coming up with the spider that's those super spiders or whatever, coming
yeah.
up with like all that stuff, and I just didn't like the whole backstory of that whole movie. I didn't think
Yeah.
that was written well, but like the action and him as Peter Parker, or I'm sorry, him as Spider-Man, it was just incredible. So thought he was like the best on-screen Spider-Man. And then Tobey Maguire, I loved him as best Peter Parker. I thought
Yep.
he was incredible.
Yep.
even though he looked 35 in high school when they were trying to portray it as being in high
Dude.
school. I didn't
Yeah.
think that was cool.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to believe. You just
It's
kind of
hell hard to
your
believe.
suspension of disbelief is you don't really. You're just like,
Yeah.
no, there's no way that this
This is a
guy's in high school.
this guy's a narc.
Yeah, it's the guy you see like the fucking 7 o'clock shadow on his
Yeah.
face. He's like 10 minutes away from having a beard, but he's in
Yeah,
high school.
dude. Yeah.
So it's,
Fucking narc
so he was
Spider-Man.
like an incredible Peter Parker because he was really awkward and weird and like not good with the girls and very nerdy and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Tom Holland is somewhere. I think Tom Holland is perfect because he sits somewhere in the middle, just right in the middle of all this of those
Yep.
things.
Yep.
And you believe him as both.
And he's a child.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's growing up. We
dude.
saw him how many years ago? We saw him. He's been playing Spider-Man for a while now.
Yeah. I will say, nostalgia picks up a little bit of this, but I will say this movie actually fixed um fixed both of those Spider-Men for me. Like
Yeah,
Andrew Garfield, the way he acted in this movie, fucking made me feel for him, made me feel like, oh yeah, this dude isn't that cool. Like he went through a lot of shit. He went through dark stuff with Gwen Stacy's death. He was talking about, it was hinted at, but he may have killed somebody or at least come really close to killing somebody.
yep.
They actually made his Harry Osborn turn into a fucking gremlin, dude.
An actual
So-
goblin.
Yeah, so they put him through hell, and this movie actually kind of fixed him as Peter Parker because now he's just like fucking traumatized, dude. And on top of that, he's self-conscious because they called him Peter 3. They told him, like he hasn't fought an alien.
Yeah,
So like not only has he been through shit and he's traumatized by like violence, but he's also like self-doubting. And I was like, okay, then
Yeah,
let's knock
for
them
sure.
down a couple pegs. And then real quick with Toby, Toby fits the bill for an older Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, being the father figure to Andrew, telling like, yeah, Mary Jane and I figured it out. You will find love. Like, fucking calling him a youth pastor. Like he fits
Yeah,
the
dude.
bill. Like he comes in as a casual guy. Like he's not still trying to be Spider-Man in this new universe yet. He's just trying to walk around and figure things out and be really chill. But yeah, he fits the bill. And I'm going off the rails a little bit here, but like we could see him be that guiding figure that we saw with Into the Spider-Verse for Miles,
Yep.
with Jamie Foxx's Electro hinting at a black Spider-Man coming through. And dude, that was such a great little like Easter egg drop. Like, man, you're saving poor people, you're fighting crime, you're wearing a mask and a costume. I just thought you were gonna be black, dude. super Jamie Foxx line, but
Yeah, dude.
I thought it was well done.
Again, just Jamie Foxx's character was upgraded 1,000,000,000%.
Dude.
I loved that. They let it feels like they let these actors just go in front of the camera like, all right, guys, just do your thing for a little bit, and then we'll pick the best takes. Like like have them just ad lib a little bit.
100%, dude. And they
Uh,
I don't know if it was the writers or them, but them throwing in random Easter eggs like the what Ty just said, crack that back all those years of web slinging. Like the fact that I don't know if this is why they haven't said it why, but like Toby was almost not Spider-Man because he hurt his back filming Seabiscuit. And so they almost
I
had
remember that. I remember hearing
Yeah.
his back filming that movie.
so they almost had to replace him, and they were going to replace him with Jake Gyllenhaal.
They
So
look exactly the same.
that's what Mel said. She was like, "There's the same person."
Dude, there's actually in a movie called Brothers, and they play brothers in the movie.
That's hilarious, dude. But
That movie's insane. It's a super dramatic movie. You should watch that. If
Yeah. The fact that they got to throw in all this, dude, it felt like a huge just like fan service moment. And I have I have my thoughts on that. I'll touch, as we're wrapping up the movie, but I don't want to go too far ahead. But dude, such a great just coming together with all three of them. Like what we were talking about, it really felt like Peter needed help from only other Peters that have fought these guys before. Um, the fact that, you know, in those scenes where they fail at the beginning because they don't fight with other people, but that Tom Holland's in a band called the Avengers, and like it taught him how to work well with the team. I thought that was, you know, such a good touch. Oh, and Ty was saying, yeah, he accepted Peter number 3 as well, which kind of is an introspective, you know, sad moment that kind of knocked him down a few pegs as well. Um,
I love that there was 1, 2, and 3.
yeah, it was so good. They had to
Uh,
sort it out, dude. And the fact that they addressed it when Ned was like, "Hey, Peter," and they're like,
and
you
they
know,
did the Spider-Man
the
thing. They did the
Spider-Man
meme.
meme. Yeah,
They were pointing at each other.
yeah,
They did that a couple times. They did that a few times, and I love that.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, but you were talking about, like, tongue in cheek things. It's like at the end there when, when he was doing the self-doubt, Andrew was, and they were on the railings, like the construction site,
yeah.
um, and then Toby was like, "No, man, like, don't say that. You're amazing." And Andrew Garfield's trilogy was The Amazing Spider-Man.
So good, dude.
You're amazing, but also, like, on a deeper level, letting Andrew Garfield know, like, you were amazing in the
Yeah,
role, even because like, there was a lot of people that didn't like his trilogy, or
yeah.
I'm sorry, his first movie and the sequel, and so it's like another nice little touch of
It
letting him know, like, "You did a great job."
it felt like
Uh,
it felt like they broke the fourth wall with that. It
yeah,
felt like a
there
very
was a few
real
moments of
moment.
that happening,
Yeah,
and, funny enough, the rumor mill's fucking churning, and now they're saying that they want Andrew to come back and finish his trilogy, and having Tobey Maguire be around and making appearances here or there,
bro.
not
Yeah,
new movies, but having them just kinda come back and be supportive.
yeah.
Uh,
When I saw the Spider-Man 4 um rumor mill start to spin, I saw one headline saying Toby. I saw one headline, you know, saying Andrew's getting another film with Toby. I saw another headline saying that Tom Holland's re-signed for another one. I'm just like, dude, there's too much shit going on right now. Like, just let everything kind of settle, and then like they'll. I feel like Sony and Marvel will come out with actual facts. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to hold off, but I have my whole thoughts on that. You know, that's this whole episode state of the MCU. And so yeah, if you're ready, dude, we can get into the question. You know, where did Spider-Man No Way Home leave us?
Man, that was a long road to get there.
Yeah, there's so much happening in this movie, dude. We got to keep the stream listenable and watchable, but trying to keep the time down. But
Yeah.
we can go on and on
I
about the
did
shit.
ask what was our favorite scene in the movie, and he just put his favorite scene was having Andrew save MJ, and then he stood there
Yep,
and got emotional. Honestly, I think that might have been my favorite too. That one almost got me. Grandma was cooking onions in the kitchen at that point, so I was,
100%.
you know, eyes were getting watery. But that was so good because yeah, I felt terrible for him at the end of that second movie
Bro.
when she died and he couldn't save her, and so that just felt. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great scene in his movie, and like to see him get that redemption was insane, and to see him break down, fucking nuts, dude. That was so good. Fuck, favorite scene? I don't know, man.
Could have
Um,
just been when they were all geeking out together. It was either in the lab, doing their thing, trying to figure out how to get them how to get all the villains fixed, or at the end when they were on the
on the
scaffolding, just kind of
scaffolding, I think that might.
just talking to each other.
Yeah, I think the scaffolding might be one of my favorite ones. Yeah, just because of them talking, but it's tough to not give it to Willem Dafoe when you know, when he's going nuts in the lab in the house when he first turns back into Green Goblin. You know, I hate to say my favorite scene is an action scene, but the fact that Peter, like Green Goblin's whooping his ass and he pushes Peter, and then when Peter finally gets gets on top and starts, you know, just beating the shit out of Willem Dafoe, the fact that Willem Dafoe's still laughing and cackling like this is what he
Yeah.
wants, and then like, you know, the whole Aunt May thing and talking about Aunt May, I was, oh my gosh, dude, such a good scene. But
Uh,
I
yeah.
think I got to go with the three Peters, three Peters on
Yeah.
the scaffolding, dude. That was
Yeah, that
super
was
good.
good stuff, man. Alright,
Um,
Joel says the Doctor Strange fight was hard too. Yeah,
real,
that was cool.
yeah,
That was they took the elements of Doctor Strange that was really awesome that I loved about that movie and put them in here for a little bit.
Yep. Dude, and
Really
yeah,
trippy stuff.
what a good way to solve Doctor Strange, especially a great Peter Parker way. Like Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is overthinking all this shit with, all these crazy spells, and then Peter solves it with geometry and like locks him in a mirror dimension. It's like, dude, Doctor Strange is so powerful that he could have solved this movie real quick. For the fact that
Yeah.
Peter was the one who kept the story going and fucking shit up and changing it and trying to do it his own way. Um, I thought that was a
Unfortunately,
great
math
solution.
wins, and which I hate. I
Like we
hated
were
math.
saying, dude, math is a universal language that makes sense and that there's no like feelings involved. But dude,
Okay, where does Spider-Man No Way Home leave us?
yeah,
Okay, so I thought that it was a perfect arc. It was a perfect trilogy. And the first one, what was it? Was it Far From Home? No, it was Homecoming. Homecoming is the
Homecoming.
first one.
Yeah,
So the first one, all he wants to do is be part of the Avengers. His whole goal is to just be. He wants to be a superhero. He wants to fight. And he wants to do the right thing. And he wants to be part of a team. He's looking for approval, and he needs it from Tony Stark, really, because he was the main person in the movie. But he just wants to be part of the team, right?
yep,
And then he's just like young and eager, and wanting to jump into stuff and not knowing what it means to be a hero yet, and just wants to be part of the team. And then the next one, Far From Home, was he learns he just kind of starts to learn how hard that role is with dealing with stuff because he was kind of on his own. I mean, he had Shield a little bit, he had Nick Fury a little bit, but he didn't have any help from anybody else. And he starts to just kind of learn what kind of toll that takes on you to try and be a hero and step up and do things on your own without a lot of help or with little to no help. And in this movie, he really feels the effects of being a hero and taking everything on your own, like the price that you have to pay
yeah,
in order to be a hero. Because obviously Aunt May died in the movie, and so now he's losing people close to him, and it now he knows, he just understands what the price is now. If you want to be a hero that level of the Avengers and be that person, then you have to go through this.
yeah,
And that's what it takes. You can't get everything you want. He can't be with MJ at the end. He can't have his best friend. He's choosing to be Spider-Man. He's choosing to save the world. And if you do that, like a lot of every single time Spider-Man does in the comics, Spider-Man never gets his way, and I feel bad for him. But that's just the way it is. If you're gonna save the world, you can't have the things you want, and he learned that in this movie. And where it leaves us at the end of the movie, um, which I thought was odd, but also cool. Now he's living in his apartment by himself. Really shitty apartment. Almost looks like the one from the Tobey Maguire trilogy. The same exact setup.
hmm,
But what I didn't get was he ditched, his awesome Iron Spider suit. Like it's just gone. And he had it at the end of the movie.
yeah,
He's just gonna throw away that nanotech, that awesome, amazing nanotech. He's building his own suit from scratch. We get the colors back, so it's not a black and red suit. Now I got the bright blue and the red. He's not the little tiny spider on the chest anymore. Now it's the bigger one because he
yeah,
saw the other guys, and so it's super traditional Spider-Man suit now. And he's on his own. He doesn't know anybody in the world because nobody knows who Peter Parker is anymore. So he's just starting from scratch now. So it's just like full circle. Um, he went from from being in high school and only having Ned as his friend, and that's it, and keeping everything in secret, to blowing up and being part of the Avengers team and like having all these friends and colleagues and saving the world. And
yep,
now he's back to I don't know anybody anymore and starting from scratch. So they have a perfect trilogy to pick up on now if they want to go in a whole new direction. He's not part of the Avengers anymore. He's just Spider-Man, and we can hopefully just get a trilogy of like Spider-Man movies
yep,
without having to jump into saving the universe and joining the Avengers.
yep.
It'll be interesting to see how he goes back into the Avengers again. But they can
If
go
he
anywhere they
does,
want with it now. They just did a total reset of Spider-Man, so they can do whatever they want now.
yeah, if he does, dude. Because and the spider suit, just to really hint on it, because I thought about that too. I'm wondering if so nanotech, are robots in your blood. But did the nanotech forget who he was?
Oh,
If
wow.
if the little robots reject who he is, they may not work the same. That, and then also the fact that I feel like, he used his Iron Spider suit to fucking communicate with everybody else, and he leaned on a lot of other people to, like, calling people to check in, calling people to get their opinion, calling, trying to get help. Like, nobody knows him, so he doesn't have anybody. So it's almost like, maybe he's saving it for a bigger threat. And right now, since nobody knows him, he doesn't have anybody to try and get help from. Like, maybe he's just like, oh, I really don't need this right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, dude. I like that you went that direction with your wrap up. Because I honestly feel like it's a fucking mess right now, dude. I feel like Spider-Man No Way Home left us with a huge mess. I feel like it was a perfect movie to separate Sony and the MCU forever. Um, I feel like it was really well done and it felt really final. Even down to, and it pisses me off, man, because I feel like, first off, like, I get that Venom, post mid credit scene, Tom Hardy's in Mexico, the Venom symbiotes like talking to him and the bartender, and they're explaining, MCU shit to him.
Hmm.
I get that Venom's there because the hive mind knowledge, he knows who Peter Parker is. I get
Right.
that. And that's why he was drug into this. Um, Honestly, another huge quip that I don't see a lot of people talking about was there was 5 villains the whole time. Like, like every saga of Spider-Man has been building to a Sinister Six. They finally had a chance to make a Sinister Six movie, and they only had 5 people in it. I thought Venom might show up. I thought possibly Mysterio might come back, but nobody ever did. And then, at the end, it left us with Venom. I think Tom Hardy's a great Venom.
Yeah.
I think Tom Hardy's a great Eddie Brock. I liked his storyline. I like his storyline a lot. I thought they were keeping him in San Francisco because he was in the same universe, and that was their way of saying, like, oh, he doesn't know about Spider-Man in New York, even though he was a global reporter. He may not know,
Right.
about that shit.
Yeah.
So I thought they were keeping him separate because he was the same universe. They clearly made Venom like a separate universe by bringing him into here. And then it felt really messy how now he's back out, but the symbiote's here. And I'm like, fuck, man, does that mean like no Tom Hardy Venom again? Maybe he's in his own, maybe he's gonna be in Spider-Man 4 with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Who knows? I just hope we see him again. Um, the symbiote, like, I don't feel like anybody in Spider-Man's universe, his close knit universe, is going to be a really good step up and be a good Eddie Brock. Um, Technically speaking, the biggest reason why I feel like everything's a mess, and we've learned this, and I think this is where this can kind of be a segue to Doctor Strange, which was the last post credit scene, which is really a trailer for the new movie. And we saw this in Loki, those branch timelines that were going haywire, right?
Yep.
If we think about it, every person that Spider-Man solved, including himself, including Tom Holland, including Andrew Garfield, including Tobey Maguire, now have a separate branch reality. This means, Norman Osborn's going back to his reality, but he's still killed hella people in his world, but now he's a changed man, so he's probably going to jail.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, he's just not dying, but he's going to jail. Then we have Doc Ock, right? He returns to his timeline. Doc Ock mentioned that, he was choking out Peter right before he got transferred to here. And so it's like that in their movie that he was choking out Peter right before he got tossed into the reactor. So that reactor's still going on. So Doc Ock has to make the choice now consciously. Do I dive into that reactor to save the world, or does the world just blow up?
Right. Yeah.
So that's a hella sad branch reality. Sandman, pretty much pretty much the same ending because we saw Sandman come to terms and befriend Spider-Man and they
Yeah, he's
explained
totally
everything.
fine.
He's totally fine and he doesn't turn to sand anymore. So he's chilling. Lizard back in his own timeline, but probably in jail because he killed people. Uh, Gwen's dad may still be alive because in that movie, one of the last scenes, you know, he clawed Gwen Stacy's dad to death. Um, but you know, he still hurt and killed people. Now he's just not the lizard, so he's probably back in jail. Shocker returns to his timeline with no powers at the moment of that electrical column fight. You know,
Well,
maybe
he
that.
died though, right?
Yeah,
Didn't he die?
no, they Gwen Stacy was there and she helped him solve everything. Remember they cured him. They like depowered him and then Green Goblin came in and then that's when Gwen Stacy got back involved cuz she was there trying to help Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
But so maybe Gwen Stacy's still alive, but you know, you still got the Green Goblin coming in right there.
Yeah.
But Shocker has no powers to fight. You know, and who knows what the fuck Shocker looks like anymore.
So he could have
Um,
his slicked hair again, his
dude,
parted hair.
and then yeah, and then the reason why there's separate timelines with Toby and Andrew still is because Doc Ock. I thought this is weird. Doc Ock, you know, says he left his timeline at the moment where he was fighting Toby, right?
Hmm.
Then when he sees Toby, he's like, "Oh, you're all grown up now." So it's like they're from separate realities. Fucking weird.
Right. Yeah, that
Um,
is weird.
you would think they would get brought in the same moment, but I guess they didn't. Um, and then Andrew, you know, he's conscious. I'm assuming he's conscious of everything that happened. So like he gets this redemption arc of saving MJ, but he's returning to a different timeline than when Gwen Stacy's still alive because of Shocker returning. You know, Andrew's older and going back to a different world. And also both of those worlds didn't have Spider-Man for however long they were here. So those worlds changed a little bit. So I just think it's a fucking mess, dude, which is like it's perfect for setting up Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness because I feel like it's insane right now. But I feel like Strange may be aware, but I feel like everybody else thinks it's like nicely wrapped up. Everything's back to normal. Like everybody's cured. Um, but dude, and the fact that they split Venom just fucking hurts my heart, dude. Because seeing Tom Holland take on Tom Hardy would have been sick, dude. Like, and then seeing
Yeah.
you could see Tom Hardy's arc where he's like, okay, like this guy, you know, isn't as bad as this guy. So you know, and then they join forces. I was really hoping to see that shit happen. Maybe even with a comeback from you know, if Carnage somehow came back. I feel like Carnage is bad enough for them wanting them to team up. But man, I feel like it's a huge fucking mess, dude. And I feel like they made it a point back to Joel's earlier chat about Doctor Strange with Wong. So Doctor Strange, they made it a point in this movie to knock him down a peg, you know, saying he's not Sorcerer Supreme. Wong got it on that technicality. So we heard WandaVision say, you know, Wanda's now more powerful than Sorcerer Supreme, and then now we have Doctor Strange, who's not even Sorcerer Supreme. So he's obviously lower and lower than he was. So with this being a mess, and then with him being underpowered, I feel like it's a perfect setup for an insane movie with Doctor Strange. And dude, that preview was nuts, man. It was a full on trailer.
It was a full on trailer. I wasn't expecting to see that, and we did, and it. Well, let's just get right into it, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody who has seen What If, has seen the Doctor Strange episode knows that the episode on Doctor Strange, the episode is like he's trying to prevent Christine from dying, and she's no matter what he does to prevent her death from happening, she just continues to die in different ways over and over and over and over and over again, no matter what he does. So you know, you try and prevent one thing from happening, she just dies a different way. Try and stop that one thing, she does a different way. There's just nothing he can do to get her from dying. So he goes crazy and he's like, all right, well, I'm not powerful enough, and then he just starts to go and like starts basically murdering all these other magical creatures, right? And like stealing their life force
Absorbing.
from them to just get stronger and stronger and stronger, so that way, hopefully, one day he can stop her from dying. But ultimately, and then he becomes powerful. He was like the most powerful thing in the universe, but he's also like dark. He doesn't have a heart and a soul anymore, and he's just kind
He's
of
insane.
he's just like, yeah, he's insane. And we see that in this one. They're bringing that to life, to live action. They're bringing in. So I guess that's what is that going to be the main villain of the movie? Is Dark Doctor Strange versus regular Doctor Strange?
Dude, so I got a pretty intense theory. I'll try and keep it quick so you guys aren't listening to like 15 or 20 minutes of me just fucking spitting shit out.
Our viewers went from 7 to 3, so they're probably tired of listening to us now.
Yeah. Me at least for sure, dude. I feel like that branch timeline thing, but I feel some type of way about it. So I'm gonna get passionate.
Yeah,
Um,
fuck yeah.
but yeah,
You guys can stay if you want to, or leave if you don't. But come
spoiler
back.
warning.
Tell your friends too. Tell your
Um,
friends to come back to a show that you don't want to be around. Uh,
which happens every Wednesday at 6:15 p.m.
fuck yeah,
PST,
it does.
twitch.tv
PST.
/ Legion of Geeks. But yeah,
Right.
possible spoilers ahead. We'll hit this again. We'll give you some lightning. Possible spoilers because we don't know what Doctor Strange is. The new movie. But bro, so they set it up to make it seem like evil Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme is the big bad. I honestly think it's going to flip flop throughout the movie. I think he's gonna come out and Mordo's gonna warn Doctor Strange of Strange Supreme, make it seem scary. But I think it's going to be real quick. So I'm just catching up on my notes. So I think Strange is gonna get scared by Mordo, try and go get Wanda's help because he can feel, this power he knows about Westview. We see in the trailer him approaching her, which is crazy because she feels finally, it looks like she's at peace, just fucking like Clint, just like farming, just by
Yeah.
herself, away from Westview.
Meditating.
Yeah, away from everybody. But I feel like he's gonna drag her. The normal Doctor Strange is gonna drag her back into it, asking her for help to write the multiverse.
Yeah.
Because she is more powerful than he is. And I feel like she's gonna come back, help him go through these insane branch timelines that he's fucking created. Because of this whole meddling with the mess and timeline shit. I feel like she might see a reality where her kids are still alive, and that drives her mad trying to find them and trying, like we saw in What If, Doctor Strange's love for Christine drives him insane. I feel like she's gonna, see a possibility with her kids, and she wants that reality more than anything else. That's gonna drive her to be the big bad. And I feel like Strange Supreme is actually gonna help Doctor Strange. Maybe some other Doctor Stranges will show up. But I feel like it's going to set it up like Strange Supreme is the bad and then flip to Wanda being the big bad. Where she's
Yeah.
trying to still manipulate this timeline to make sense so she gets her family, which is all she wanted in WandaVision.
I think that you're mostly well, and with how I think you're mostly right in what you're saying. I think that a lot of what you're saying is making sense. I think the circumstances are a little different though. So, like you, I do think Wanda's going to be the big bad eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's going to happen is Strange is going to know that there's the Dark Strange out there who's coming for everybody, tearing through tearing through the multiverse and just coming for powers and all that stuff. Uh he's going to go seek Wanda's help to help take him down because he knows that Wanda is now just as strong as he is and powerful.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go. They're gonna team up again. Um, They go to take this guy down, but then, Dark Strange is gonna tell her, I have been able to accumulate all this power. I know how to bring people back from the dead. I know how to save people. He's going to give her an inkling of hope that she can bring back her kids, see them again. And then, then like it's going to be as Dark Strange is getting defeated. It's like, oh, save me because I know
Yeah.
how to do this. I know how to bring back just,
Switch
keep me
sides.
alive.
Yeah.
And then she X's him out. He's gone. But then that's gonna stick in her head and be like, oh, I can do this. What's he saying? Maybe I should look into it. And then she's gonna try and do whatever it takes to bring them back. And in the process, she just gets more evil and more evil. And then regular Strange has to try and stop her.
Yeah. 100.
That's where I think it's going.
That's pretty good, man. Neither one of us talked about how America Chavez, like, basically she's like a young captain, and Captain America is coming in, and how she's going to be involved. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
I saw her in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like standing behind him in that one weird door.
Yeah, and even saw her. She has star-shaped portals. She's able to jump through timelines and portals. So that'll be interesting. I don't know how to figure her into the story. Um,
Our best
our
dirty
best.
force is Doctor Strange is a punk.
That's an old coworker of mine.
Oh,
Thanks for jumping in chat just before Marcus flames you, because Marcus loves Doctor Strange.
I fucking love Doctor Strange, dude.
But yeah,
Why
dude.
is he a punk? Like, no, like I'm totally open to why you feel that way.
Hey,
But like, why is he a punk?
such a great moment too, in Spider-Man No Way Home, when Zendaya finds the goatee template for Strange.
Oh yeah, because he's spraying it because he's going gray.
Yeah, I don't know, was it spray or was it
And
like a trim?
it was almost like a Rogaine thing, wasn't it?
Oh,
But
okay.
for his beard because he's going gray. So
I thought it was a template, so that when he trims it, it's the same every time.
oh,
But yeah,
he's more of a Doctor Fate guy.
Dr. Fate was no, that was DC that I'm thinking of. Dr. Fate in Marvel. I don't remember. Oh. Yeah, Dr. Fate's DC, I think. Yeah. That's the same, that golden guy that I chose for oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
didn't
dude.
you choose him?
Yeah, for our
Yeah.
Super Friends
Justice
episode.
League.
Justice League.
Justice League. She was on Justice League. That's right.
But yeah, dude. So we got some
Joel does say some stuff too.
what do you say? I think
I think Wanda's too powerful on the Marvel scale to be the villain in the end because really how many out there are more powerful? But that's the thing, dude. Like, you want a villain. That's how the fuck are we gonna? And it gets emotional too because she was part of the team. She was part of the Avengers who saved the world.
yeah.
But now, like, there's that more to it too. Like it's not just, oh, we have to stop this person who's trying to take down the world. Now it's like, well, but we've had a relationship with her.
Yeah.
And that plays on it too. I'm not trying to kill her, but also she's, we have to also do what it takes.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a whole struggle.
The stakes are super high, and back in the comics, she House of M, she said no more mutants and got rid of all mutants. So she's incredibly fucking powerful.
Hell yeah.
So and I like the stakes where you're not sure. Well, just like No Way Home, like you're like, how the fuck can one Spider-Man like solve this? And he doesn't. It takes three of him. So I feel like this movie's gonna play on that same kind of feel and have more than one Doctor Strange.
Totally.
And I really think Wanda might do a reverse, and that's how we finally get X-Men and finally get other shit, is instead of saying no more mutants, because she wants her children in there, and we saw in WandaVision that her children are mutants, are super powered. So, I could totally see her saying, mutants are here now or whatever. And she just, instantaneously brings in all these people that existed in other timelines or whatever, dude. Maybe Hugh Jackman fucking comes in as Wolverine. Who knows?
Yeah,
dude?
I've heard some rumors about that too.
Yeah,
that, like,
of him coming back.
trying to come back. Yeah.
Which
there's like a really good, they wrote something really nice for him to come back to.
Yeah, and I could see it being part of this, dude. Wolverine does have this crazy in the comics, Wolverine has this crazy time story where he jumps back, solves something. The thing he solves ends up creating a bigger disaster, so he jumps back even further a second time to stop himself, which is a whole crazy ass mess. I don't think we're seeing that anytime soon, but I could totally see him
Let's
jumping in
see.
this movie.
The whole Loki thing introduced the idea of variants, so now we know. And also
It's a
Spider-Man No Way
possibility.
Home.
Yeah,
Like, it's not the same person, it's different people who can be the same person, so that's how we can have, like, a passing of the torch from one Wolverine to the next one.
yeah,
You know,
100.
it's like, yeah, we see this old man Logan coming in, but also there could be, the new one that's gonna carry it for the next 10 years or whatever.
Yeah,
So, that's one way of doing it, and yeah, I mean, either way, dude, it's gonna be fucking crazy. I think the Multiverse of Madness is gonna be. I mean, they introduced it to us a little bit in Loki, the idea of it. Here in Spider-Man: No Way Home, we have the other Peter Parkers coming through from the other trilogies. Or not trilogies. I mean, Andrew Garfield didn't have one, but from the other universes. Now it feels familiar. Like, oh well, other people can from other universes can come through now, and so now this Multiverse of Madness is gonna be, I think, like the huge turning point now. So now we're gonna see like tons of variants of other different characters, and people that are good but they're probably bad in another universe come through. Just there's so many things that you can do. Big bads that were bad in our storyline, but they come through and can help the heroes in a really big threat that's going on later.
yep,
But it's totally possible now because of all this, and
yep.
so it just opens it up for so much storytelling now, and that movie, the Doctor Strange one, that's gonna be fucking hot, dude.
It's
And when it comes out, it's gonna be everything.
Yeah. And dude, that Doctor Strange is going insanely large. And then we got Ant-Man, which is going insanely, small, which is also introducing all this crazy other shit because variants exist, both in these micro worlds and then both in the large like galaxy that's, bigger than time and shit. Yeah, and our best is saying we have She-Hulk coming. I really hope we get to see a lawyer battle in She-Hulk with Matt Murdock. I hope he's involved in there. That'd be sick.
There's the rumor that he is involved in that show.
That'd be good. Yeah, and just to wrap up this Doctor Strange talk, I don't know if you had more, you can add on. Feel free.
No, we
Um,
should probably get to the next one. We're hitting it,
real quick,
fucking hitting it hard right now.
one small Easter egg they had in there. And in What If, they were hinting at this tentacle monster. And we see a tentacle sea monster called Gargantus. At first, I thought it was Shumagorath, which is this crazy space galaxy time hopping, ruler. But it's not him. It's actually a sea creature, which is actually a main villain from Namor slash Black Panther.
Oh, shit, Submariner, baby,
Yeah, so fuck,
Submariner.
maybe we see him in Doctor
It's a
Strange,
direct rip
but
off of Aquaman, but just like all things Marvel,
so
everything's ripped
Mariner,
off DC.
dude, like I always say, bro, like you could be the first one or you could just do it better. Like
Hey,
it's what shots fired.
there you go.
But and
There you go.
just the real quick final words. I love that it sucks. The first director for this Doctor Strange was a horror movie director. His name
Dickerson or something?
Scott Derrickson.
Derrickson.
I
Damn,
thought
that
it
was
was
close.
yeah. Samsonite.
Scott
I
Dick.
almost have no.
No.
But yeah, dude. I thought it was gonna be sick. Yeah, that's my exact face right now in chat.
Yeah, no, it's Sean
But
right
dude,
now.
I hella
Why do
thought
you have a mustache in these ones?
no, I have the
Is that how
beard.
it
It's
is?
just chopped off
Oh, I see.
on the
Oh,
GIF.
I couldn't see it from here.
Um,
We're getting old, I think. Think it's happening.
yeah,
It's happening right here on the show.
yeah. You got
I'll
your
just put it back
iPhone
and put it right
XL.
up here.
That's not a phone, dude. That's an iPad.
So I have the iPhone fucking 20X over here. When I fucking answer it now, it's like this. Hello?
That's gonna be the future, bro. Give it 15 years. But dude, just some
Yeah,
backstory.
we lost fucking like 4 viewers in that one comment. Like right now, I watched it go down. It was like from 8 to 4. All I did was put it up and said that I have the iPhone 20. Like, fuck these guys. You guys suck, dude.
old men.
Fucking old
These-
bastards.
These fucking Easter eggs. So this horror movie director left. The torch got passed to Sam Raimi. Doctor Strange was Sam Raimi's favorite character when he was a kid. He signed on to do the Tobey Maguire movies because, and he even threw a Doctor Strange Easter egg in there because he thought it would lead to a Doctor Strange movie. So to see him come in, and him and Scott Derrickson are friends. Scott Derrickson's still an executive producer, so he's still involved. It's just not going to be as scary of a horror movie that we were expecting, but it'll be good, dude. All right, man. Yeah, if you wanted to say anything else about Doctor Strange.
No, I think that about does it. I mean, Doctor Strange, in terms of Marvel movies, I don't, anybody who's listening to this for the first time, but Doctor Strange, the first one, was my top favorite Marvel movie of all time. That was before Endgame came out. And that was before No Way Home came out. I still think it might be, dude. I think it might be because, like, in terms of origin story, I thought it was fucking fantastic, and the special effects were next level. I think Benedict Cumberbatch. I think it's Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Is incredible and perfect as Doctor Strange. And he just everything was great, dude. It was just so perfect, and I loved it. It was just that movie. I can put it on anytime, and it just fucking flies by, and it's already over. So I love that movie. That was one of my favorites, and he's one of my favorite people. So yeah, I can't wait for the sequel. I've been waiting for a long time for it, and I've loved that he was in Spider-Man too, because I get to get my little fix
Yeah.
of that stuff, and it's great. I love that. I just everything's so cool. The MCU in general is so cool because it's been so many years, decades now of just us having this storyline and building these characters, and you can have them kind of pop in and pop out of different stories, and you don't need to spend a whole chunk of the movie explaining these characters because we've already gotten movies from them before. So, the payoff is, yeah, they could show up for this one scene, give a little wink and a nod, and exit, and then it doesn't feel cheap because you already know what they're all about, and
Yep.
it's fucking great. It's a perfect fucking business model that Marvel has done, and they've done it perfectly. And it's just it's really exciting where it's going to go from here.
Everybody, thank you for being here. All you guys listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever this is going up. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. This has been another episode of Legion of Geeks. Everybody here on Twitch, stick around for the raid. Marcus, you want to say anything else?
Just that again, what Sean said. Appreciate you guys always coming in to listen, always coming to hang out, jumping in the chat. Makes it fun for us. I'm sure it makes it fun for you guys. Don't be afraid to hit us up on Instagram. Send us a message. Like, if you guys want us to talk about something specific, I know we say this a lot, but if you guys want us to talk about something that's on your mind, hit us up. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up next time. Don't be afraid. Hit it up, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys. Peace.